I'd like to welcome everybody to the Gig Harbor Fire and Medic 1 Commissioners Meeting for February 15th. All present, if you please rise and join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Is there an approval of the agenda? So moved. Second. Roll call vote.
Commissioner Incy.
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson.
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilsey.
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes. Any upcoming commissioner absences? Seeing none. Any communications?
No communications.
An approval of the minutes of our January 23rd meeting. So moved. Second. Roll call vote.
Commissioner Incy.
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson.
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilsey.
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes. Vouchers.
We approve account payable vouchers 20061 through 20074, grand total $4,501.05.
There's a second. Second. Roll call vote.
Commissioner Incy.
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson.
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilsey. Chairman Urbina.
Yes. Local 3390 reports. Jake did reach out to me today. He's going to be watching online. But there's nothing at this time from the board. Which brings us to chief's reports.
All right, we'll start with Chief Black. Good evening. Just a couple updates from me. Excited to let you know that our new SCPAs have arrived and they've been all kind of put together and they're in the process of in the training division right now. We're going through and training everybody for the new SCPAs. Our SCPAs last 15 years. So this is a new cycle. Bruce Brown and his team have been leading that. So we'll get them trained up and then we're going to get them out deployed at the end of the month. So we're very excited about that process and getting that equipment out there. Then just secondly, and Chief Johnson will talk on a little bit, but logistically, we're going to close 53 and 57 if we approve a contractor tonight and start getting those stations, getting moved out of those stations so that the contractor can get started on that process. And to report for me. Yes, sir. What happens to the old SCPAs? Actually, the manufacturer takes them back. Oh. They work on the disposal of them and or the repurposing of them. Okay.
Do we get a little credit for it when they send it back?
We do. We do. I think they inflated it and then credited it, but that's good. That's how it turns into a used car. Yeah. Okay. But it looks good on paper. All right, Chief Booth.
Good evening. I just have two quick updates. You'll remember that I've been working with community stakeholders to rewrite the MAC policy. In that process, it became somewhat clear to me that the MAC probably wasn't the best tool for us, both for serving the community as well as serving the organization's needs in the scope of a large-scale emergency. The difference between one of the things that's key to a MAC is that it really focuses on policy level decision making along with coordination of resources. And as we met as a group, we were looking for things like operational deployment, and we were looking at things like having a joint information system. And it's just not the right structure to really satisfy that. So we have pivoted, and I have Chief Busey's endorsement along with DEM. We're going to be creating a department operations center plan. So we're going to pivot. We're going to work on that. We'll still coordinate resources. We'll still come together and make sure that we're meeting the needs of the community. But we're not going to have a MAC moving forward. So that is underway, and that process will probably take us through to I would imagine, the end of the second quarter before we have a finalized plan that we can begin training on community wide. The other thing I want to report on. There have been just under 30 AEDs that were surplus out of the EMS division. And so I met with Division Chiefs Westcott and Dumas this last week to talk about what we want to do with them. How can we best serve our community with those pieces of equipment? While they're not going to be utilized as frontline response pieces, they still function and they are still, they still have plenty of service life left. So we've met with Gig Harbor PD already. We're going to meet with the Pierce County Sheriff's Office, and we've had inquiries from FICRA down on Fox Island, along with the city, who all have an interest in getting hold of some of these. So we're not 100% sure exactly where we're going to put them, but it's our intention to go ahead and get them at the very least into the Gig Harbor PD cruisers and some public places. And we're hoping that Pierce County Sheriff wants to partner with us as well. So we have a firm commitment from the police department that they want to take advantage of being first in on cardiac arrest within the city limits. We're excited about that. Anything we can do to reduce the amount of time from recognition of cardiac arrest to not only good CPR, but also the application of an AED where indicated, it's been proven to save lives. So we're working on that program, and hopefully we can have them deployed realistically by mid to late March.
I missed what you had said,
Yeah.
but then when you said AED, that's the
Correct.
part I missed.
Yeah, the automatic external
Right.
defibrillators. Yep. Yeah. So we're working on that, and I'll update more as both of those projects come closer to completion.
I would imagine that to, as long as we're donating, if you will, to another government agency, that would probably take care of the auditors and auditors.
I know that we're working closely with Perry and his team to make sure that we're following all the rules that are required. They will be theirs, and we will support them in training and then replacing some of the specialized equipment that will be hard for the police department to acquire on their own. That's kind of the initial plan.
But we will surplus them, correct?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, Chief Meyer?
All right, good evening. Just to give you an update from operations. Last Friday, we supported Night to Shine event by providing EMS standby. That was a contract for service. There was actually a couple calls at the event that we took care of. So just participated in that community event. Last Thursday, Friday morning, most of you probably heard that we have a couple fires in the Point Bostic area. They are a suspected person of suspicious activity. Gig Harbor PD and also Pierce County Fire Marshal is doing an investigation. Gig Harbor PD has released some pictures out on the news media and social media. So they're actively looking for those things. The crews did a good job keeping the fire small at the backside of the halftime slough. Tacoma Fire came out and supported us with their ladder company. So they kept the fire small, which was great. Active shooter training. We're going to be doing some active shooter training at Oceans 5 here later in the month. So just keep you guys apprised of that. We're going to be the nice, heaven forbid this ever happens, but one of the things that we have had great community partnership, not only with the schools, but the Galaxy Theater, Ocean 5 for allowing us to be in their buildings. So that's going to be at the operations level with the on-duty crews. March 21st, I am going to be meeting with Gig Harbor PD's, Pierce County Sheriff, Key Peninsula's command staff, and just talk over, have a cup of coffee about what are we going to do. And we've had these conversations before, but active shooter trainings, and you may hear it called Asher training. But active shooter training with unified command and some of just the command concepts. So having those meetings with those law enforcement partners. So just want to keep you in mind. Like Chief Black said, 53 and 57 are being closed this week because of the construction. So one of the things is we're going to need to move apparatus and bodies. So when we have extra staffing we have been staffing as a priority station 53. During this time, my 53 and 57 are closed. We're going to be prioritizing putting a medic unit in service or an aid car in service, depending on if we have paramedics or EMTs. That medic unit is going to be at Station 52. So you're going to hear medic 52 or aid 52 be dispatched and run calls. So that's going to help us with some of our call density and some call concentration. But that's where we're going to be putting our effort. We're also going to be staffing other apparatus when we have extra staff. So that's going to come in here next week. With that, new employees started yesterday. So 7 new lateral firefighters. 6 of them are lateral firefighter paramedics, and one of them is a firefighter EMT. So they started yesterday. We're excited to have them here. We were here at 7 o'clock yesterday morning, bright and early. They brought donuts and coffee, and they were all excited to be here. And they're in the Red Card Wildland Training class with Tacoma Fire as a joint partnership between our training divisions. So it's a great time for our organization, and we just wanted to welcome them to our family. So that's great. The next item is USAR Task Force. So the FEMA Washington State USAR Task Force has approached us and other agencies to ask for more members on the USAR Task Force. Currently, we have 3 members, Bob Witherspoon, Paul Stark, and Jeff Moore. They asked for 2 to 3 more members from Big Harbor Fire. So we're going to be doing an internal process for potentially putting 2 to 3 more members on the Washington State Task Force. Hazmat technician and possibly 2 rescue specialists. So that's a great opportunity for our folks to support that the USAR Task Force. Promotions. Chief Doan and myself, we did chief's interviews last week for 2 upcoming lieutenant vacancies. Lieutenant Larson and Lieutenant Norby Johnson are going to be retiring. Lieutenant Larson in April, Norby Johnson in June. And we had chief's interviews with 4 individuals. They were outstanding, all 4 of them, in the chief's interviews. And we were pleased and honored to promote Jacob Flick and Anthony Carr. Those are contingent on Steve Larson and Norby Johnson actually retiring when that comes up. So just wanted to keep you apprised of that. And then lastly, I kind of screwed up. Okay, I will tell you. I bunged up my knee a little bit. So I am on modified duty and I have to have ACL repair surgery on March 1st. So if you see me hobbling around with a brace on, I may be on modified duty here for a little bit, hopefully a speedy recovery. But it was off the job injury, and yeah, I've had the surgery on March 1st. So unless there's any questions, that's the end of my report.
Is that the same name?
No, it's the right knee. So I had 26 years between surgery was a good run that I'm telling people, and so I'm going to have both ACLs done. Yeah. Unless there's any questions, that's the end of my report. Thank you.
Also along with Station 53, I can't remember if I've updated you, just in case it comes to you, because it's already bubbled up to the school superintendent and myself. There's somebody frustrated that we're moving the bus stop away from Station 53. And so I just wanted you to know, in case you heard about it. We obviously were under construction and have firefighters there. We needed to move that away from there, but there's some frustrated people there. We're doing our best. I met with Katrina Knudsen from the city. TIFs have been a big deal around the state. I'll update you on legislation about that, but the city has told me that it is not something that they're looking at as financing right now, so that's really good news. With that, I'll move into legislation. House Bill 2353. We originally had to do with all junior taxing districts, and it's been pared down a little bit, but it still has fire departments and hospitals. And there is an arbitration clause in there, a binding arbitration clause between the city and the fire district. So we're in support of the legislation. Doesn't go the way we originally intended, but it never does. But we like it. It's looking like it's got a really good chance of making it through this year. It's House Bill 2353. Senate Bill 5770, the 1% property tax bill to 3%, died this week, so that one won't be moving forward. Senate Bill 2091 to create a fallen firefighter memorial is moving forward and is looking good. The only other ones were, I got 6 pages of bills, but I tried to pick the 3 or 4 that we've been focusing on the most that are still alive. Are some fire service training funding bills. So those are the kind of the high level legislation that I'm on the legislative committee and today we have to do. So That's all I have for updates.
Chief, any questions? Okay. You. We can do report. I do not have a report for chairman's report, so that brings us to our pod update.
Good evening. So as always, just kind of some highlights of what's happened and what we're working on. Training campus. Last week I met with Travis and some electrical engineer connectivity experts. So we looked at how we're going to get fiber to the new building. We walked this campus, this building, that campus. So now basically I was just the go-between of, hey, this is where all the vaults are, and they're gonna figure it out from there. To tell me where we need to put new vaults if we need those. So that was an all afternoon opportunity to take a walk around the campus. One more item for the training campus is obviously we're working towards getting the permits for the training campus. The last issue we're working through now is through Tacoma Pierce County Health Department. And it's just has to do with our well. They thought that our well was going to tie to the city water main. It's not, because they don't want those two systems tied together. It's a misunderstanding. It's getting straightened out. Hopefully we'll have permits very soon. Station 5357, we're open for bids. Those closed last Thursday. That'll come up here in a couple minutes under new business. Station 51, I had a brief meeting with the mechanical and the electrical engineer, really to just bring me up to date on new energy and electrical code, which take effect March 1st. At least that's our plan. It's actually a 2021 code adoption that has been ran through the courts, everything else, because there's actually should be a 24 new code also. That's probably going to get delayed again. But a lot of it has to do with limiting natural gas, how we heat our water, how we heat the ate without natural gas. And we're under the understanding that we will be able to heat with natural gas through radiant heaters, because that's really the most efficient way to heat that huge space with a door opening and closing. So it was more having them explain to me those processes, and we're already hooked to natural gas at the site. It's not like it's a new connection. Station 50. So Station 50, we had a request for qualifications opened to help us out with I still haven't come up with a good term, repair, remodel, whatever we're doing on that side of the building. That closed on the 5th. We had 5 submittals, and right now we're just going through those submittals and scoring them and evaluating them. Next meeting, I'll come with a recommendation to move forward with that. And that is the end of my updates for the moment. Questions?
No questions, I just want to piggyback. Anybody in the room that doesn't have a background in a certain amount of construction, the reason that Chief Johnson has to deal with architects, if it was just a matter of sheet rock and some flooring, it's no big deal. You can just go to a vendor and that's it. We're talking structural, we're talking plumbing, we're talking electrical, we're talking communication. I don't know if it affected the elevator. It's a lot of different things that you just can't say, okay, hang some sheetrock and put some flooring down. So I just wanted to maybe explain that if somebody didn't quite grasp it. Thank you.
No old business on the agenda. That brings us to new business. Item A, county radio system access fees. Chief Dunn.
In your packet's a letter from the Pierce County Fire Chiefs to the county, specifically Jody Ferguson, DEM. And I had updated you, I'm pretty sure I did last meeting about what's going on. And but before we make our final policy, or before I move forward, only paying what we paid last year in subscriber fees, I just wanted to affirm, I don't think you don't need to take a vote, you don't need to do anything, but I just, if there's any heartburn over doing that, because in essence, the county's billing us for something and we're only paying what we paid last year and not what they billed us. All fire districts in the county are doing the exact same thing. Police are taking up the issue, and my guess is they're gonna do the same thing. I'm pretty sure Gig Harbor, he's gonna do the same thing. So, that being said, I didn't want to take take this initiative without getting your, awareness and knowledge of it. And if there was, any question on that we talk about it now.
Any discussion?
That's my plan moving forward. We have not heard back from Jody, so we'll see what happens. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chief. All right, the next item under new business is Station 5357 bid award. Chief Johnson, back to you.
All right, thank you. So a little bit of brief history. Obviously, we worked through capital facilities plan. First projects were remodels of 53 and 57 with a little bit of expansion. Those are needed as we move crews in and out of the other stations that we need to displace. It went out to bid February or January 8th, closed February 8th. Advertised in all the resources that we needed to, were required to by law. On last Thursday, on February 8th, I was in the building the whole day. We never received any by mail, and we didn't expect to receive any by mail. Most projects like this, they are literally turned in on the last day. And the first one turned in was it closed at 2, and the first one was turned in at 1:43. The last one was turned in at 1:59. And I said they need to have it on my table within the next minute or it's not going to happen. So with all that being said, we had 9 different companies put in bids. As we went through it, we opened them in the order that they were received. And as it turns out, the first bid that we opened was the low bid. The low bid was from BFC Construction out of University Place. BFC Construction has done some work for fire districts and other, this isn't really a big project. It's smaller, but they have done some work for South King Fire. So I reached out to South King. They had nothing but good things to say. They were on time. It was nice work, and they were happy that they had done the work. We did our other due diligence and checking the research and checking the other references. Those all checked out. Everything that needed to be in that bid package was included in it. I sent it to legal, and Eric reviewed it and sent back to me and said, we're good to proceed with the award of the bid. Side note, with working with South King, RFM has also worked with them because RFM was the architect of record for the South King projects. So obviously we had a little bit of knowledge there too. And Howard happened to be the project manager with RFM for the South King projects. So all of that tied together, I come to you tonight with a recommendation to award the bid for the 53-57 additions to BFC Construction. And their amount was $2,203,000. And that is minus sales tax. So move.
Second. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilsey,
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes.
Thank you. We will draft a notice tonight, tomorrow. And with all of the drafting of the notice, it will be posted on the website, as well as we will let BFC Construction know. And then just as courtesy, I will also send letters out to the other 8 companies that submitted bid. Any other questions, me?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for great work.
All right, the next item on the agenda is our time for open public comment. Please state your name for the record. You'll have 3 minutes. If you're online, please raise your hand so we know if you would like to comment. I'm not seeing any. So that'll move us to good of the order. Any good of the order? Any special interests, upcoming events? Okay, so our next item of business is an executive session pursuant to RCW 4230-110-1G. Review the performance of a public employee. The executive session will last an hour. We'll start with an hour. So meeting will be called back to regular session at 6:26. And no action or vote will be taken at that point. Thank you.
Yeah, like I said, I just want to double check that.
All right. Back on YouTube Live.
We
Yeah.
never left you.
Okay, so, all right.
All right, welcome back. Go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Thank you for being here.